Hello and welcome to Hard Copy, the program where we bring you the people behind the news. And Eid Mubarak to all our viewers. And Maokbe Ogun. Well, it's been quite a busy week at the Ministry of Labour and Employment, with one ultimatum and a strike currently ongoing in two critical sectors of health and education. The Minister of Labour has had his hands quite full, but the question is, could we have avoided these inauspicious situations? My guest tonight is the Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige. Dr. Ngige, you're welcome to Hard Copy.
Thank you, Mabe. Thank you.
The very first question. Could we have avoided getting to this point where we had the ASUU threatening a strike and eventually embarking on that strike? And now we see the NMA and the National Association of Resident Doctors also saying they're going on a strike. Could we have avoided this?
Yeah, I agree with you. We could have avoided them. But that is if people have conformed to the labor laws of the land. You see, let me start with that of ASUU, for example. ASUU had a 2009 agreement with the Jonathan government in areas of revitalization fund for the universities, payment of rent allowances, which other unions in the university system also want to partake from. Nupenco, they want to register what you call a pension fund administrator. They also talked about the university school, the management, the secondary school, and the primary school. In fact, one of the unions went to court. It's not ASUU that went to court. They had agreements. Those agreements, 2009, they were not done. They were not implemented.
By who?
By the Jonathan government.
By government?
Yes. 2013, I was in the Senate. The matters read up, he said, Ngige was the chairman senior committee on education. As a matter of fact, I was in the education committee for a while before I switched over to science and technology. I chose science and technology because I needed to. The committee chairman, Professor Boroface, begged me to join him there. So I had to do a switch. So I handled an aspect of that renegotiation.
Renegotiation that was also followed up by a needs assessment on the part of government by itself.
Yes. And there was an MOU.
Yes.
Correct. Now, part of the thing was effected at that time. That revitalization fund, for example, 200 billion was given. That 200 billion that was given, the government didn't even have it to give at the time.
But somehow government found a way.
Yeah, somehow that fund bailed out government. You know, government is big. So from that fund, 200 billion was paid. As I speak to you today, that fund is still making a demand of that money from the federal government, from the office of the Director General Budget Office.
Well, the question here is, so there was an agreement.
There was an agreement, but the point I'm trying to tell you, I said that people should operate within the confines of law. If you go to the Trade Dispute Act, Cap 8T78 of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, if you go to section 3 of that act, if you enter any collective bargaining agreement, a memorandum of understanding is like a collective bargaining agreement. Once you enter such an agreement, the law requires you to deposit it with the Minister of Labour and Employment in three copies. The minister will then make orders from those agreements.
That's the Minister of Labour?
Yes, he's there. I didn't make the law. If you domicile it there, there's a department called Trade Union Services and Industrial Relations. They will translate it into what is called conclusions. Parties will come and sign. we track and monitor implementation.
That wasn't done.
Wasn't done. By either of the parties.
That's
by either of the parties.
By the parties.
The law says.
By the parties, you mean who and who?
I mean ASUU. I mean Federal Ministry of Education.
That wasn't done. And the Ministry of Labour did not ask for it.
We will not ask for it. How do we know? We can't go to National Assembly and do any adjudication or arbitration. No, we can't.
Will the Ministry of Labour say they were unaware of the agreements that was reached to call off a particular strike?
The strike of 20...
the strike of 2013, which took all of 6 months. Will they say that, well, because we're not the ones who resolved it, we cannot go and ask for
I don't know. What
agreements?
I'm telling you about is the agreement they reached in December, January, in the National Assembly, where they agreed on forensic auditing and payment of some portions of end allowances. It's a flow out from that memorandum of 2013. But it wasn't domiciled with us. I didn't see any. If I had seen any, I would track. That is what I have been doing, and that is why I've averted strikes since this regime came. I have never had any strike because I preempt.
Until this ASUU strike?
This is the only strike that is going on. This is the only successful strike.
Well, on the part of the Minister of Education, he has accepted that government did not implement the agreements that was reached with ASUU. That's the reason why we're down this road. But you're also looking at the NMA now and the National Association of Resident Doctors, I think now it's called. They are also issuing an ultimatum because government has not been following up with the agreement that has been signed.
They have done the right thing.
Why do they
Those people have done the right thing. Excuse me, they have done the right thing because the memorandum of understanding they reached with previous government have been domiciled in my trade union department.
So in that instance...
And they have also given us, directly, writing me directly, and saying, we have a trade dispute to Ministry of Health. We are giving 21 days notice that we will go on strike. That 21 days notice should have taken effect from Monday. So we fixed a meeting for them to come for what is called conciliation. Ministry of Health, why was this not done? Ministry of Finance, why was this not done? Ministry, Accountant General's office, why is this not done? I mean, there's nothing as beneficial as dialoguing. That's what the ILO means by when they say social dialoguing by the partners. But you must dialogue.